Life can be fast-paced, strenuous, and flat-out overwhelming. Life transitions and taboo topics can make it hard to catch your breath. Welcome to Breathe, a podcast that enables you to slow down, get your bearings, and engage in real conversations where no topic is off limits. Breathe is presented by Breath of Life, hosted by David Person and speaker-director Pastor Deblier Snell.
Welcome to Breathe. I'm David Person, and of course, this podcast, which is an extension of the Breath of Life television ministry, would not be complete without the brother sitting across from me. Pastor Deblier Snell, speaker-director of Breath of Life, senior pastor of the Oakwood University Church. How you doing, Pastor?
Hey, I'm good. It's the start of another week,
Yes.
and which means that we've got another opportunity, a new chance to do some great things. And so we want to just fill up this space today with some hope and some instruction for our audience today. And we got some great people that I believe are going to help do that today.
I think so. I think so. This is in my mind, this is a remarkable couple. And we can, we toss around accolades, pretty easily these days because of things that people do.
Right.
And of course they are accomplished in that regard as well. But I think the real focus today should be on what they have endured.
Yeah.
And survived. And that's what makes them very remarkable in my mind. Jarius and Candice Hayes are with us. Welcome to both of you. Good to see you both.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
I learned about your story, Candice, of course, because you did a presentation at a meeting that I was at, I guess a month or so ago. And Jarius, when I heard your wife tell her story, and by the way, when you were telling your story, people were quiet. I mean, you could have heard a pin drop in the room. I just thought to myself, I had many thoughts, but one of them was, I need to see about getting them on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because it was that powerful a story. Jarius, why don't we start with you, first of all?
Yeah.
So you are a native of North Alabama.
Right.
And you actually played professional football.
Yes, I did.
You played for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
All right. How many years did you play for the Cardinals?
I played 3 years for the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. What position?
Tight end and fullback.
Okay.
Right.
And who was the quarterback during your time?
It started off with Boomer Esiason
Boomer. Okay.
in his later years, and then Jake Plummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake. Yeah.
And how was that experience for you?
It was a great experience. It's something that not too many people get to experience, and I was thankful that I was able to have that experience.
Okay.
Right.
And so, Candice, you also grew up in the Shoals area.
That's correct.
Did you guys know each other when you were teens or college age or anything like that?
We met while I was in college, but as far as teenagers, we didn't really cross paths at all.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you met in college, and this was college where?
North Alabama.
UNA.
University of North
UNA
Alabama, yes.
in the Shoals area. So is it the classic, you're walking across campus, you see this beautiful woman, and you're like, oh, wow, there it is.
No, it didn't happen like that.
Oh,
well,
okay.
actually, she wasn't going to North Alabama at the time. I was.
Okay.
So we kind of met outside of the, college.
Okay.
But it was amazing how we met, and it's kind of a long story, but we met. God brought us together, and going on 28 years in May.
28 years. Congratulations.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
I love
That's
that.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you get together, you have this NFL career. Candice, you're also a businesswoman.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Well, at the time, I wasn't a businesswoman during his part in the NFL, but so I started out about 16 years ago with a janitorial company, and about 4 years ago, I ventured into candle making. And from candle making, I ventured into, right in my first journal book. And it's called the Hope Journal.
The Hope Journal. This is probably a good time to get into the sensitive area, because I think the creation of those last two businesses have a direct correlation to a tragedy that happened in your family. Which one of you wants to talk about that?
We're both here to talk about it.
I'll let her start off.
Okay. Candice.
So what happened was, for the last 7 years, we have a son, and it's our youngest son. And so our youngest son, at the age of 14, he started having really bad headaches. So we took him to the neurologist, and they were just like, he's just having bad headaches, just migraines, gave him medicine, whatever. So 5 years after that, which he would have been 19. And just one day, he just almost went into a seizure type. And after that, he had a psychotic break, and this was new to us. We didn't know really how to deal with it. We really didn't know what to expect. So what happened was our first time we dealt with it, it was 2 weeks before our oldest daughter was to get married. So it was 2 weeks before our daughter's wedding. And that was the first time he had his psychotic break. They gave him some medicine, and we thought, okay, well, this is okay, you know. My daughter got married. He was able to, attend the wedding. We were still kind of nervous about, if he was going to have an outbreak or whatever. Long story short, the wedding, and you guys might have seen it, I don't know, it made news. It made local news because the food was contaminated. So several hundred people got sick, hospitalized, and that's when everything started to get chaotic for us. That particular day, we were all sick. My oldest son, he fell out. My husband was sick. We were all sick. Everybody was sick. So we told him, we was like, okay, you got to get in the car. And so he was thinking that we were going to take him again to, a facility. And so he ran off. Long story short, he had to go back into the psychiatric ward. That particular time, he had to stay 21 days, and that's when the news really kind of hit us, when we met with the doctors, the nurse, and the staff, and all that. And I asked a question. The doctor said, well, do you have any questions? I said, of course I do. What are the side effects of this medicine that he's going to take, and how long will he have to take it? And the doctor said, well, it's a lot of side effects to any type of medicine that you take. And I said, okay. And he was like, but he will be taking this for the rest of his life. And I said, I just kind of did that, and I just kind of sat back in my seat, and it was like, how everything just kind of goes like, and he's talking, but it's like Charlie Brown. It's like that. Yeah. And I'm like, God, this can't be happening. He's only 19. His life has only began. Wow. What now? And then the doctor also said, he was like, and you have to make sure that he stays on this medicine, because if he doesn't, this will be really bad for him. So that was the second time, of course. He went again, and this particular time I was on my way. I was on my way to drop off some cleaning towels for a client, a janitorial client that we had, and I just got this prompt unction that said, just stay home. And so I just started making candles, and I went out the room to ask him a question. As I was walking to the room where he was, I heard something go, and I said, what is that? I opened the door, and he was hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, my.
Man. And at that time, you just get nervous. My whole body started shaking. I started getting nervous. And I'm seeing him hanging from the ceiling, and I'm like, where did I go wrong? You know, why? God, what did we do? You know, where did I go wrong? I thought we were doing everything for our son. You know, what happened? And so me trying to, get him down, I'm there by myself with him, and it's just like all these thoughts are coming to my mind, like, you're a bad mom, look what you did,
Wow.
And so then I was trying to, get in contact with my husband, and I says, well, I can't be here with him by myself. So we have a older son that lives in, that lives here in town, and I just went to his house because I just didn't want to be there by myself with him until my husband got over there. And I just pretty much lost it by the time and not mean lose it, but it's just my emotions began to take over.
Sure.
I mean, like, totally take over.
Yeah.
And so at the time when I was driving, and it's only 10 minutes from where we live and where our oldest son lives, and it just seemed like it just took an hour to get there. It's just like everything was just so slow. And I texted my mom and my daughter and my sister all in a group text, and I told them, I said, Caleb just tried to commit suicide. And my mom she was a social worker for 30 years. She's a retired social worker, and she said, this is a cry for help. And I said, a cry for help? I thought we'd been helping him, So through all of this, we've had to endure a lot. I've lost a lot of hair. I had hair loss. I gained weight. And the weight gain was just come from just trying to eat as a comfort, to overcompensate what we've been dealing with for so long.
Jarius, what was this like from your end?
Yeah.
How did you learn about what happened, and how did you process it?
Well, at the time he tried to commit suicide, I was at work, and I had my phone off, and so, but they were able to get in contact with me, and they said, "You need to call home now, or you need to call your wife now." And I called, and I could tell she was really emotional, upset, and she told me what had happened, and so I immediately, left and went to him, and I'm the type of person, I don't get really emotional outwardly, but a lot of what's going on the inside. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was probably feeling the same way she was on the inside. I just wasn't showing it.
Sure.
And during our son's whole ordeal from the beginning to now, from the beginning, when it first started happening, I was like, we didn't know anything about mental health. We didn't know. I didn't know the hospital had a psych.
Right.
I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was just a hospital. I had no idea. And we didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So we just had to deal with it from, what somebody may have told us what to do or whatever, but we had no blueprint. I had no knowledge of mental health, nothing. And so I just think with us speaking out will kind of break that cycle, especially in the Black community, of not knowing or being fearful, understanding you're not by yourself in dealing with something like this.
Yeah.
And so, but, my feeling was the whole time was I wasn't saying why me or nothing like that. It was hard to deal with because you had no knowledge of what to do and what was going on.
Yeah.
And so every day was just like a new experience because, there was no roadmap to it. And so we just had to deal with it the best way we knew how. And it may have been the right way. It may have not been the right way. But we dealt with it the best way we knew how.
Yeah. I think with that kind of stuff, there's no right way.
It's not.
It's a crisis.
It is.
And in a crisis, there is the response. And it's interesting that, I've kind of walked with some parents in a similar journey. But it's interesting how that blame, and you referenced it, and I can only imagine how that compounds the crisis because there's something innate in human nature that has to try to hold somebody or even ourselves accountable.
That's it.
For something that is completely outside of our ability. When you're talking about mental illness, it's not somebody's fault. Unfortunately, that's a part of the pathology of living in this fallen world.
That's it.
Where some have physical challenges and there are others that have mental hurdles, and there's no blame to be assigned per se, So, yeah. So how did you kind of work through that? Because I think that may be able to help some moms or parents. How did you work through just that idea of, man, this is my fault? What did we miss? What did we do? What was there anything helpful in helping you work through that?
Prayer.
Okay.
I feel like we have.
Amen.
It's good to have a good solid foundation.
Yeah.
So you won't, because it could be very easy to kind of vendor off, especially because how you're feeling already.
Yeah.
So prayer definitely helped.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Well, God bless the Hayes for sharing candidly from their experience, an experience that is every parent's worst nightmare. Those of us who have children know and can begin to sympathize and maybe to some degree even empathize with what they have experienced and their feelings and the challenges that they have been facing. We thank them for sharing their experience candidly with us here on Breathe. This is part 1 of a part 2 conversation. Next episode of Breathe, we'll continue our conversation with Candice and Jarius Hayes. I'm David Person on behalf of Pastor Deblier Snell and Pastor Kirk Nugent. God bless you. And don't forget, even in your darkest moments, there is relief. There can be relief. Just stop, pray, and breathe.
Breathe is produced by David Person for Breath of Life. Executive producer is Deblier Snell, and sound engineer is Kirk Nugent. Audio episodes of Breathe can be found on Apple, Spotify, or Google podcast platforms. For video episodes and extra content, check out the Breath of Life YouTube channel. Breath of Life is faith-based content, resources, and programs from a contemporary urban perspective for those looking for hope and guidance. We believe that every breath we take is a testimony that God is consistent, that He loves us, and has a plan for our lives.